Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Welcome, welcome, welcome everybody here. Here we are in Carterton, in the Wairarapa, and thrilled to be here with Dr. Anni Lincoln, who's going to be talking about how the climate and ecological crisis is affecting her and her family. Dr. Anni, would you please introduce yourself?
Kia ora, ko Anni Lincoln I have been a GP in Wairarapa for about 39 years, which I arrived from England in 1980 on a working holiday at the hospital, and I've basically been in the Wairarapa harbour and breaks since then. So I'm married with 4 children and I have 7 grandchildren.
Thank you so much for coming this morning. Yeah. And you're here with your family in Aotearoa, so far away from home. But this has become home. And there's changes happening at the moment. So let us hear a little bit about why you chose and establish your family here.
Yes, it probably wasn't really a choice. It happened by accident. But I certainly do remember my childhood as collecting newts and frogs and generally having a bit of a wild time. My children were fortunate also to have that experience with being able to swim in the rivers and having a very carefree life. And what has prompted me to talk today is basically this may well not be available for my grandchildren, and it's my responsibility to try and encourage change. So, for example, I live near the Mahanga River, and last summer basically we were unable to swim on the river because of toxic algae, and that is purely and simply due to the fact that the water is warming and there's less flow going through the river. So I really believe that it's up to us locally and nationally and internationally to recognise what is happening with our planet and actually try from the ground root level to actually facilitate change, because it's not happening. You know, the powers that be know we are facing a climate crisis and mass extinction, and yet nothing really is being done. In fact, it's getting worse.
There's a health professional who have seen and no doubt be delighted at the way that this country has followed the science with the COVID crisis. And so I want you to tell us a little bit more about following the science with the climate crisis.
So the way with COVID, it's a threat that's happening here and now, and so it's a lot easier for everyone to respond to that because it's something that's imminent, it's threatening yourself and your family personally. And I think the way that New Zealand responded and the way that the whole of it really was a team of 5 million. But how do you actually rally that same urgency when it comes to climate change, which is actually a far greater threat to our health than COVID or any pandemic ever will be? So it did show that we could make changes. It certainly illustrated the nations that have no inclination to embrace change or even admit that there is a problem. And unfortunately, some of the most powerful countries in the world are doing it. So, yeah. Interestingly, the impact of COVID really, I don't think, from the economic point of view, we've actually come close to seeing yet. But certainly, you probably heard on the radio this morning, the increased demand in mental health. There's a lot of very anxious and depressed people. Now, you imagine climate change
wash our hands differently, more frequently. We wear masks in this thing. As the team of 5 million, we are personally doing things differently to keep our distance from people. We gather in smaller groups. So I'm wondering about what you might think that we could do differently, given that we had the government leadership, how we as individuals might be doing things differently.
Well, fundamentally, the capitalist consumer way of living is not sustainable. And so it's really a question of all of us accepting to live with less. Interestingly, there's also a movement to have appliances, cars that actually we can repair. I remember when I first came to New Zealand, I thought there was an old car rally, but actually it's just what everybody drove around in. And there were Morris Oxfords and Ford Poplars, and they were just being repaired and repaired and repaired. And now we buy things expecting them to break and actually buying more. And so really that has to happen at a very strategic level, that no, we're not going to buy things that break. We're not going to import rubbishy tinsel for Christmas, and basically have a movement to change people's attitudes. In Carterton, when I came here, there was a shoe factory, a leather factory, a clothing factory. There was in Masterton, there was a Atlas that made washing machines. There's no reason why that couldn't happen again.
So there seems to be something about our democracy that means that the science is clear. The science has been warning us for decades. And you said earlier the governments are not taking notice. I'm wondering if you have any thoughts about our democracy and the ignoring of the climate and ecological crisis.
Yeah, well, clearly, Extinction Rebellion have proposed the idea of citizens' assemblies, and really, it is not a democratic process at the moment. We vote people in democratically, but there are so many outside forces that affect policies change, particularly with dealing with larger governments overseas and big business. So I think actually Pharma is a really good example of how a small nation like New Zealand can actually stand up to big pharma, and so it can be done. Places like Bhutan have a national happiness framework, and I really believe that with a citizens' assembly, any policy should actually go through the national climate environment framework to make sure that any policy that goes through is actually going to be good for the country and for the environment, and not have a 4 or 5 year plan. But Maori in particular have taught us that actually you plan for 100 years. You don't plan for 5, 10 or even 30. You have a longer vision, because what you're planning for is your grandchildren and your great generations to go.
What wonderful thoughts you have shared with us this morning, and great indeed. And I thank you so much for your considerations for the climate, for yourself, your family, your grandchildren, and the wider community that you've served so well for so long. And how could they are those who So coming to the end of the interview, I'm just wondering if there is anything more you would like to add to the discussion this morning.
There's a few things. The Wairarapa is very much a farming community, and the impact on our economy will be huge with climate change. I have a son who has an organic vineyard, and dealing with the extremes of weather. People talk about global warming, but it's actually extreme weather that is most damaging. And really closer to my heart is that my granddaughter's family on the other side come from Haiti, and they are having to cope with increasing frequency and severity of hurricanes, even though Haiti in itself is not a producer of greenhouse gases. So you have a very poor country suffering the consequences of our inaction, and that breaks my heart.
Dr. Anni Lincoln, you've shared so much with us this morning, so much breadth, so much depth, and I thank you so much for sharing that with us and giving us your wisdom, your insights as we are moving forward and embracing the consequences of the climate and ecological emergency. Thank you.
Thank you.
Carterton, Arno, here.